Sometimes collapse isn't sudden. It's slow, disguised as we're managing or it'll get better next month. Until one day you realize you're standing in a life that no longer adds up, emotionally or financially. The bills are the same, the income isn't, and the silence between you carries more weight than the numbers ever could. In this episode of Who Are You Now, we step into one of the most relatable and the least talked about experiences, financial loss. When life doesn't go as planned and the stability you built your identity around begins to crumble, what rises in its place? Today, I'm joined by Kara Elkins, who walked through that unraveling. A year of her husband's unemployment, hidden struggle, and mounting debt that eventually led to bankruptcy and selling their family home. But what emerged on the other side wasn't just survival. It was truth. It was realignment. And it was a new definition of abundance, built not on what they had, but on what they chose to rebuild together. This story is about silence, shame, and the courage to start over, and how losing everything can strip away illusion and leave only what's real. So take a breath, settle in, because the unexpected isn't always a fall. Sometimes it's the doorway to who you're becoming. Hi, Kara.
Hello.
So thank you for being here.
Yes,
and
happy to be here.
For being willing to share this chapter of your story. So I'm going to hop right in. Can you tell me a little bit about before everything shifted? What did life look like for you and your family before the layoff?
I feel like we were, I don't want to say oblivious to what's going on around us, but probably just living like everyone else, acquiring things, trying to do all the things that other families are doing, have our kids involved in everything, and not necessarily looking good on the outside, but just doing things that we felt as people who live in Orange County or in our area, like these are the things we're supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's quite normal.
We were comfortable. I wouldn't say we were living like high on the hog or out of our abilities, but I definitely think we were striving for more and more success,
sure.
And more money.
What did financial stability look like for you at that time?
Well, I was a stay-at-home mom, and I had been for many years, since the girls were born, actually. And I was basically just taking care of the kids, going to all their activities, taking them to and from school. John was traveling a lot, so that was my primary responsibility, but that was something we both agreed for me to do, is to stay home.
Absolutely. And so he was the main breadwinner.
Yes.
And he was able to provide a Orange County lifestyle.
Exactly. And that was a huge blessing.
Huge blessing.
And that was something that he let me decide. And I decided for myself that I really wanted to be a part of their lives and not let someone else take care of them. And that was just for me. It's not for everybody, but.
No, I mean, I think that if you can decide as a partnership what you want your family to look like, especially prior to having that family, it only strengthens the bonds that you have because you have the same goal.
Right.
Right. And the same family values. And so what other values shaped your family unit and your lifestyle at that time?
Well, we're very involved in our church, and we have our faith in God, and that's how we live out our life. And that was important as a family unit to raise our kids in a Christian home and to have those values, putting God first before everything and trusting in Him, believing in Him for all that we have. And nothing was what we created or provided for ourselves.
Right. It was sort of given a blessing.
Yes, for sure.
Did you and John ever have the conversation or ever imagine the what if scenario, since he was the main breadwinner? Or did that just feel unnecessary at the time?
I never took anything for granted. He, being in pharmaceutical, There's always layoffs. Companies are always being bought out. Drugs are always going generic. So there's always that possibility. Nothing is ever guaranteed in pharmaceutical sales. And he actually was laid off previously. Like, I can't remember. The kids were really young. So we had been through it before. So I think in the back of our mind, there was always, it could happen again.
Right.
But we weren't living like that in fear. But yeah, I never feel like we're completely secure. Anything could happen.
I don't know if any of us
Like,
do.
I don't put all our trust in our money.
And like looking back now, did you see the early signs of that imbalance coming, emotionally, financially, relationally, or was it just kind of hit you guys?
I don't know if I discussed with you before. He was working for a company where their drug was going to go generic. And so that year was coming up. So he had that in the back of his mind, and they kind of warned the employees a year in advance. So that was always in the back of our mind. The other thing is that for me, I always feel like we were never on a budget. So that was not good preparedness on our part. We kind of just spend and we just save a little here and there. But we were never preparing for a rainy day. So were we shocked? No, because it could happen too. Did we ever prepare for it? So it's kind of like it's on our own.
Right.
It's our own fault.
Well,
And
it's hard to build up that reserve fund here too. Everything's so expensive. So
Yeah,
it's like,
true.
You start thinking, well, he makes enough. And so we don't really need to look at it. And I think many of us do that. Like the bills are all paid at the end of the month. We're okay.
Well, and he had also a stock plan. So we lived off of that as well.
Did that go away when?
Yes.
Oh, so that's
Yeah.
like,
So
it
that's
was
like,
all gone.
that's like two incomes. So that's why I was able to stay at home, because that's like a second income. So,
oh, that must have been such a shock.
yeah.
So, okay. So for about a year, you knew it could be a possibility, right?
Yes.
How did you find out about the layoff?
Well, he had told me, I can't remember exactly, a month before the drug was going generic. They had told him along the whole time that you're not going to lose your job when the drug goes generic. The company's going to put you into another business unit.
Okay. So he felt safe.
Yeah.
Right.
So the year's coming up, and a month before the year was up, they said, oh, sorry, change of plans. You're going to lose your job. So he just told me.
In like 30 days.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. And so they gave him a severance package.
But still.
Yeah. So we only had a month to prepare. So that was a little scary.
What was that talk like?
I didn't want to panic. I wanted to be supportive, because he is the breadwinner, and he thinks, that, well, he did know everything was on his shoulders at that time. He was scared and disappointed. And so I just went into nurturing mode. I've never bashed him or like, oh, it's all your fault. Oh, this is happening again. Nothing like that. It was a shock, but I just honestly just prayed and knew that God had a plan. Even if it's for us to go through something, there was going to be a season or a lesson in it.
And there was a season and a lesson.
Yes.
But wasn't there?
Yes.
Both?
It was a little uncomfortable, longer than we thought. But you know what? I kept telling him, what's the worst thing that could happen?
Right. You're together. Your family's together.
We're not going to be on the street. I mean, it could happen, but with both of our resources and being able to work, find jobs. But the other thing is it happened during COVID. So yeah.
Was it right as COVID was happening?
Yeah. So it was August. And I think things started, the first case of COVID, I think was like January of that year. So slowly everything was shutting down. So say August, that's when school shut down too. So
yes. Oh my gosh. When you shifted from the temporary shock of, okay, all the income's gone, when did you realize, okay, things might need to change? How long did you live in the illusion, I would say?
Well, I think my husband, I can't speak for all men, he wanted to act as if everything's okay. We're going to be okay. I'm going to get another job. Don't worry. And I said, should I get another job? He said, no, I don't think you need to at this time. But I don't know if he was saying that because he didn't want me to worry, or he thought he would get a job right away, which wasn't the case. So for me, I feel like I was trying not to worry. And I was in denial, but
probably a little bit of denial, but him trying to make you feel okay and you trying to make him feel okay. Was there a little bit of staying in that illusion a little too long because we're just hoping everything's going to be okay without making real
I think
budget?
He was. I wasn't.
Okay.
In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, oh, crap.
Right.
This is going to get real and things are going to have to change. But I don't think he wanted us to ever feel the pain or ever feel any struggle.
Yes. Yeah.
Because that would have, he would have to face himself in the mirror and think, oh, I failed.
Did he finally face himself? Did he finally?
He did when things just started crashing down. Like, at the time, I had a car and he had his company car. So they took that away. And then we couldn't afford to keep my car. So then now we're down to no cars. And then he had to rent a car. So that, not having insurance, taking our kids out of private school, which was fine, that, you know, it was COVID. So they were okay staying home and going online in public school, living off credit cards and just.
Yeah. You guys were also providing some financial support to your family members prior to that. And then kind of a sudden having to take John's mom in during that time.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that? And then Elodie's 17 and Gianna's 14. And those are rough ages for girls. And so, of course, you want to be home for them and present for them amidst all the change. How did you deal with all of that at the same time with Grace? And because, I mean, I've known Kara for a long time. She never lost her poise or grace. And you were always very positive, like it will work out. Yeah, we have some hard lessons to learn now. But you, I mean, how did you keep it together?
I think honestly, it's my faith, and not to say like you don't go through anything or you're not fearful, or I just really cling to God. And some people may not understand it, or they will, but I needed to be strong for my kids. We're realistic, but if I show, not say weakness, but if they're looking to us for strength, there is everything going to be okay. So I just never allowed myself to go there. I was going to wait till if we're on the street, okay, now I have time to worry. Not that I wasn't going to try to do anything.
Did you go there in private, not in front of the girls? Like with John as partnership of, babe, what are we going to do?
Not necessarily.
No?
Honestly, I was more worried for him as the provider because I knew how hard it was for him to have to face the truth, because not to bring into all the past issues with him, but his dad lost his job and they lost everything. So in the back of his mind, and I don't know if he manifested it, he always thought, I'd never want this to happen to me. And so I think he always thought it's going to have to be him and his own strength to be able to always provide, because he didn't want to make the same mistakes his dad made.
Well,
And
being
so-
laid off isn't necessarily a mistake. That's a chance of circumstance.
Yes.
Right? I mean, it wasn't like he wasn't doing his job or he got fired.
Right.
It's,
Or, I mean, but not planning financially.
oh, I see. Yeah. Did
Not
he?
having reserves, not having, they say, what is it, 6 months?
Yeah,
maybe
6
income,
months.
3
I don't know if
months?
that's
I don't
possible
even
here.
know.
But I spoke to John a little bit, and he just said he felt a lot of shame. And he felt like he's, quote, I felt like the biggest loser. And he still does.
No, he still says.
Even though you guys are back on track.
Right.
And that's so sad that it just
And
stayed
for
with
me,
him.
I don't define myself by my clothes, my car,
No.
my house. So I tell him today, because he'll say, I feel like a loser. We're in this rental. And I'm like, we have a roof over our head. Honestly,
all that
we do.
matters.
And I'm able to have my own business out of the home. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have had to, wouldn't have that at the other house. So I feel like everything's happening the way it should, whether it's to teach us to have less and be happy with it. And also, like, maybe we're put on this new block for a reason, to share our story with other people, show grace to other people, encourage other people. So I feel like no matter where we're at, there's always.
Well, and it's so funny because when I treated John, I said, the energy that comes in is I see all of it coming back. But first, you guys have to learn how to live within your means and doing that the hard way of what's really important. And as those foundations, the foundations of realignment build, I just saw all of it coming back. I don't know if he believed me though, but I said, you guys are going to be completely fine.
Yeah.
It's just, there are lessons that the universe wants you to learn. And this is the only way at the moment. You don't know what other blessings, like you've been able to start your own business. And as coming out of this, you really did a lot of soul work and figuring out how you wanted to contribute to the greater good.
Right.
Remember those talks that we had? And you found that.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if the girls were in private school, if all the fluff was still there, would you have been able to sit in silence and sit in that stillness and have that clarity come up for you? We don't know,
Yeah,
but
probably not, because I felt I wanted to contribute and I should contribute, even though he never made me feel that way. But yeah, absolutely. And just getting older and my kids going off to college, I did want something of my own and my own identity. But going back to the lessons and the blessings is, I think it was the best thing to happen to our kids because they were so caught up in just being able to get everything they want, coveting other people's things. And, you know, if somebody said, oh, I want this, I'd be like, oh, sure, let's get it. And we had to say no to them for a really long time. And, you know, they were kind of worried. They said, are we poor? Are we going to be homeless? And they had to feel that. And I think it was good for them because now they don't ask for a lot. They're happy with little and they're happy with fake handbags and not expensive things. And I think that was
How do you think that
blessing.
shifted your relationship as their mother and then their relationship with John or you guys as parents? How did going through that?
Well, it was kind of a blessing because during COVID, we had nothing and we had nowhere to go.
Right. There was
like
nothing going
everybody
on.
else, but we really didn't have a lot. So we spent a lot of time together as a family. We always have doing game night, family night, movies, doing activities. But it really was all we have is each other and being able to spend time together.
Did they embrace
and
that?
not have all the extra stuff? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I feel like they appreciate it. And even to this day, they recognize that other families don't always make the time for their kids, even when they have lots of money and lots of resources. So I think they appreciate that because they see that other families that are affected by that, they don't have a strong core unit like we do. And they're thankful that we provided that.
And do you find that they will come to you or talk to you about anything because of what the family has gone through?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Right? That they're just so much more open about.
Sometimes too much, but yes.
I know.
I'm thankful they come to me, honestly, but I'm like, okay, that's a lot. But I never want them to feel, just on a side note, that they can't come to me with any information.
And that experience makes it so much more raw and real because you're dealing with finances, which no one talks about. Whether you spoke about it outside of the home or not, it doesn't matter, but speaking about it inside the home and yes, we're going to be okay, but this is what it really looks like. I know that's really scary for kids who haven't been out in the real world, right? Because they're 100% dependent upon us. But to be real with them at that age, it gives them permission to be real about everything, not just with you, but within their own lives.
I never looked at it that way, but yeah, you're right.
The blessing should happen.
Yeah, and I think kids should struggle.
Yeah.
Because then they don't learn to be resilient. And
oh my gosh. So I was just having this conversation with Nate. I'm unfulfilled and I don't know if I'm supposed to be here. He's at school. I don't know if we were talking or I was talking with someone else. I said, these kids don't have these scarcity survival issues. So they're worried about microplastics in their brain and they're worried about, World War III or whatever's coming instead of how am I going to feed myself and how am I going to put a roof over my head?
I think they think like that.
They should though.
Right.
I mean, I basically said, honey, if you leave school, you're terminating the contract I had of trying to help you get you started and I'm going to hand you your bills and you may not come home. That's the hardest thing I've ever done because I had to turn into like the dad mode.
But that's good that you said that because
we have to realize the consequence. Well, I don't know. What's the point? My generation is going to be the first generation that does less than their parents. And I said, because you have to self-sustain. You are not going to live at home when you're 30 or 40
but that's the most
50.
loving thing you can do.
I know it's so hard though.
There's so many families I know, they want their kids to stay close. They don't want them to feel anything. They don't want to go through any struggles. So just stay home. It's as long as you want.
No.
That doesn't even, I don't know if I can do that, but I don't think it's helpful
healthy
to them.
No, I feel like, we have been present every step of the way and I've been very present and very aware and rearranged my life so that I could hopefully make sure that they could get a good start.
Yeah.
And then I want them to fly. I want to always be in their life. I want them to touch base. I want to go visit, go on vacation. I don't want adult kids living here. Right. It feels like I didn't do my job.
Exactly. And I mean, I admire you. You're just so successful. You're strong. You do what's best for your kids. Always.
We always should though. You do too.
Yeah.
That's why we bond.
Well,
but it's so hard. I mean,
the first one though, I did everything, which was, I don't know. That's all I knew.
Well, we're learning too though.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like we had, they came with a handbook or, we had this sort of magic. You become a parent and now
Right.
Because we have to work through our own stuff
just
at the
loving
same
them
time.
isn't the solution either.
No, it
No.
can't. I mean, there's unconditional love, but there's also like we have to teach them there's natural consequences.
Right.
And I think coming back to what you guys as a family went through, it teaches them raw and real and not everything sugar coated. And no, you're going to have to work for what you want. And what are you going to do with that? Not, oh, your dad lost his job. It's more like, what do you want your life to look like?
Mm-hmm.
And what will you do to put those things in place? Because you're going to have to work for the handbags and you're going to have to work for your car. And I think those are blessings in disguise from what happened. Because, I mean, we don't know. You guys might have pulled back, but I don't know.
Yeah, probably not.
Right.
And the compassion our kids have towards their dad instead of, it could have been looked very different at how I handled it. If I belittled him, disrespected him, or berated him about it, they felt bad for him. They prayed for him. They wanted him to not feel like it's all his fault. They wanted, not that they carried it, just recognizing the compassion for him and not saying, well, now you're going to screw up.
Did that go a long way for John in dealing with?
I think so. No one's ever, he's created that for himself in his own mind, that he's a loser and didn't provide. There's times though the kids will say, you know, I want to live in a mansion someday and I'm not going to be poor, and thinking it's that easy. But ultimately they're happy where they are.
Once they hit out there, they'll realize the condo's nice, you know, because the more bills you have, the harder you have to work, the higher, you know, everything's at stake. And as you learn to keep it simple, you realize what's really important. And it's the time and it's the love and it's connection. Mm-hmm. I think that those are probably the most valuable things in relationships. And the rest is just bonus.
I mean, if I could go back, I would have probably prepared them financially, taught them lessons along the way, like how to save, just what it looks like to, you know, the bills, because they don't really have any idea.
I don't think that they would have figured it out anyway, because they don't, it's like monopoly money. True. You know, when I try to teach the kids certain lessons, there's no life experience.
That's true.
So it's not super tangible. Like but like you can't sit down with the kid and do a spreadsheet. They don't.
That's true.
It is. It's like playing Monopoly.
Right.
But it's not, you know, even going to school and them having to budget, like here's your food money for the week. It's not their money. That's true. I still at least want them to budget.
Yeah.
Right.
You're right.
And so we can do the best we can. And then what it is that we have to be very open when they come back and they're struggling, not come back home, but like call and I'm really having a hard time with this, and then be able to guide or use our own struggles and our examples. Exactly. Makes us human to them. Right. But it also makes it okay for them to struggle because we did.
Right. And appreciate everything they have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So let's talk about during the time where John was laid off, his father passed away suddenly. Mm-hmm. And so your mother-in-law came and stayed with you for 6 months.
I don't know how we survived through all of this.
I don't know either, because she's not very good with money either. So it was just...
Oh, we had to carry her burdens because her husband, John's dad, they didn't have life insurance. They spent all their 401k. They had nothing. And we didn't know at the time that they were like months behind in rent, bills. So we had to step in and
without an income.
Yes. Well, actually, I think that happened before he lost his job. So we did have some money. But yeah, it didn't help our cause. But you do what you have to do. And she wasn't gonna, and they had never had financial issues before, so it wasn't even a question whether we were going to help.
Oh no, of course. Yeah. Well, and did that put an additional strain on your household?
Yes.
Was she with you when you guys had to go through and put the house up?
No, we got her into a place first.
Okay.
Yeah,
that was helpful.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what did that strain look like on the kids of having an additional person in the house when things are already sort of becoming uncertain?
They like our family unit, so that wasn't helpful. It caused a lot of stress. They felt like this isn't our safe space to be ourselves. Even though it was their grandmother, it was a whole new situation because she was mourning the loss of her husband.
And she became overly dependent on John for everything.
Yeah, exactly. And she wanted that to be her home long term.
Where she was, or
no, with us.
Oh.
And that was never the option.
No.
I apologize. that just wasn't for us, and it wouldn't have been healthy for her. She's thriving now. But during that time,
Yeah. No, that's very
it was,
stressful. How long after you guys got her into place where then John's job fell apart?
I would say, well, he lost his job in August. His dad died in November. She moved in with us December, and she lived with us for 6 months. So that's,
Was that the prior to the August that he lost?
yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. Did it change your guys' sense of identity within your relationship having, because I know going back a few years, you had your mom living with you for about
For
6 years. And then we finally got her. And then there's this revolving door. And of course,
Right.
you're always going to help your family. But did it make you guys stronger? Did it make it more struggling within your own partnership and your own identities?
It was definitely more of a struggle. It did put a strain on our marriage, on our family. So we had to fight for each other and for our boundaries. And that was the lesson, I think, too, is we had to establish healthy boundaries with our family. We weren't going to be a revolving door. We weren't going to let just anybody come in, and we can't take care of everybody. We had to take care of ourselves. And eventually we could take care of ourselves. So it was a wake up call that even though we have a heart to help people, we want to help people, that it was okay to say no. And that's when, we told my mom she had to move out. We told his mom she had to move out.
Was that discussed between the two of you?
Yes. Because
hey, we need to have
it
some
was
boundaries.
just really heightened, and it was affecting our marriage. And we could have brushed everything under the rug and just kind of gone our separate ways. But we wanted to get back to what we knew, how we were thriving in our marriage. And that was put each other first and not put all of our family's debt and issues before our own marriage. Otherwise we weren't going to make it. And we said that to ourselves, like, we can't do this.
Wow, that's super powerful. So you knew, hey, if we both continue down this road, our marriage is not going to survive.
No.
Well, no, that's amazing that you guys had that foresight and that both parties, because a lot of times one person will say it and the other one is not ready to hear it or can't deal with it. And the rug starts to slip from underneath you. And then when the other person can look at it, it's almost too late. So I think it's really, I've always thought you guys are amazing together. Because I know you guys have been married. How long have you guys been married?
25 this year.
And so just the way that you interact as a couple, because I've known both of them for a long time, and the way that you each talk about each other, the way that you each approach the family unit and what's best for the family, it's so strong. And yes, I know that your faith holds it together, but it also takes a lot of compassion, selflessness, and really seeing yourselves as a unit instead of these two separate people. That's like real marriage.
You're right.
And so I'm in awe of, I see very few real marriage, we're going to work it out no matter what. Like, that's the commitment. That's what real vows are to me.
Right.
Is going through the hard with you, even when I want to kill you, or even when I want to punch you in the face.
Right.
But like, this is it.
Yeah.
I think there's very few that I've witnessed throughout the years. There's very few couples that actually have that kind of commitment to each other. And so I commend you, because I don't think if you didn't have that strong of a bond, you would have got through something like this.
No.
Without there being major fallout in other places.
Yeah. I mean, it's not easy. It makes me sad that, other people have had to end a marriage over it. But I just feel like just having, my mom was a very strong person, and seeing her very strong through tough times, I think was a motivator. And then also it did affect us. That's why we came to you a lot to get relief.
Well, of course.
You helped us in our journey. Otherwise, we probably would be a wreck too, physically.
I know, because that the emotion, the mental strain, it all just bleeds into the physical because it has nowhere else to go.
Right.
And so just allowing it to be expressed, because it's not necessarily someone else's that needs to be expressed or that they need to fix. Sometimes it just needs to come out of the body so we can breathe and regulate and then face it again. Right.
But I owe a lot of my healing to you also.
Well, thanks, Kara.
You're part of my thankful prayers, because you do. God bless me with you to help me heal and not carry things and take on people's energy, and just really work through those things so that it's not in my body and I'm holding on to that trauma.
Right. Well, and then now you can take your own very bright light, and as it expands, you're giving back. And we'll talk a little bit more about in ways that you've found your own identity and your own self coming out of this. And as the girls have gone to college,
Yeah.
it's amazing when we don't hold on to our own traumas or other people's, what we can do with our own light, because it all becomes sort of part of the positive collective consciousness, I call it. And that's how that's our personal contribution to trying to help heal the world.
Right.
Needs a
I
lot
mean,
of
I feel like
healing.
we all have a purpose, and
Yep. Absolutely.
God's going to use that purpose for good.
Let's talk about the breaking point.
Okay.
When did you know? All right, it's got to give. We're claiming bankruptcy. We're selling like when it all came to a head.
Like when I knew, or what I needed to make changes.
When you guys decided it's time.
Oh, well, we had our house, and I don't really know all the logistics, but we filed for bankruptcy, and it was during COVID. So I forget what the term is. Something they were allowing certain mortgages or bankruptcies to be able to go in default because of code. I forget what it's called. The allowance. Do you
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't know. Anyway, so but for some reason, the judge on our case kept saying, usually you just write it off and he lets us go. But it went on for 6 months. So we had to keep paying, even though we were supposed to be discharged of our bankruptcy. Because my husband gets stock, it says he has to be there for it to vest. So once he was unemployed, it wasn't going to vest, but this bankruptcy attorney, they're paid to be able to get money back to the companies, the credit card companies. And he said, no, I want to go after your stock. And we kept saying, and my husband was showing proof, we're not going to get the stock. So he kept trying to keep us going and go so he wouldn't have to charge us off and we'd have to pay back all of our debt. And at some point he went to all of our investors or all of our credit card holders, everybody, and said, there's still a chance you can go after them. And I thought, oh my gosh, that was so crazy. And so
stressful.
Finally, we proved to him that we didn't have to pay it back. And so we were absolved of that. But at the time we had to move into like a townhouse, which was fine. But we went from like a 4,000 square foot home to like 1,300 square feet, that was fine too. We put everything in storage, and I felt like we were on vacation too. It's kind of like we're in this little VRBO. So we made the most of everything. But yeah, things just kept being taken away and taken away. We're being stripped of our car, our home, all the things of comfort.
So what did that conversation look like when you and John finally sat down and said, all right, we got to claim bankruptcy and we're selling the house and we're just going to start over, see where we land?
I was okay with it because I felt like it would help us to not focus on all the things. It was a relief, to be honest, because like I said, everybody around us had, we were living in $1 million home, but there was $10 million homes. There was all around us, which now looking back, I would, even if I could afford it, I wouldn't want to be in an expensive home. I don't want an expensive car. I don't need all these handbags because they're just
things.
They could be taken away from you at any moment.
Or they're just things.
Right.
What do they really mean?
So now I'm excited. Honestly, I know this sounds like funny, but I look for all the deals. Like I shop at Home Goods. I try to get things on Amazon. Which I don't know if that's good either, but I really try not to just spend just to be spending. I love getting deals now. So I probably wouldn't have been like that before.
I'm a big sale girl too. Like I don't really want to pay full. I'll buy nice brands, but they have to be on sale. Otherwise I just don't. I'm like, I'll pay full price for
right. I mean, I feel like when my therapy is going to Home Goods and finding things that were probably at Pottery Barn, I could find there for like a third of the price.
I know. And it kind of feels good though, right?
Yeah, it does.
Because you can still make your home
I feel
super
like I
pretty.
tricked the other companies from
you
robbing
like
me.
cheated the other companies for a while. Yeah, I totally get it. Just don't like buy the deal because it's the deal. Don't buy anything just because it's on sale.
Yeah.
Only if you need it.
Well, and I also, not to go down this rabbit hole, but I don't want to buy things that are being used by labor trafficking also. That's a whole nother conversation. But just to buy it so inexpensive where people are suffering, losing their lives for it. I don't.
They're suffering for that.
That extreme either.
No. All right. So what was the conversation like telling Elodie at 17?
Actually, it was 16 and 13.
You were 16 and 13? Yeah. So what was that like, having that conversation with the girls saying, we're going to have to pull you out of public school? I mean, I know there was that period of COVID where everyone was at home, What was it like saying, you guys can't go to private school anymore? Was that at their ages, at 16 and 13, was that devastating? Did they understand? Did they blame you guys?
Maybe at the time for a minute they were resentful, but honestly, I think it was a relief for them.
Really?
Because it was so much pressure at that school.
Yes.
With what, people are driving, buying. I think it was a load off of their back and not having to keep up. So if anything, yeah, at first they were, worried like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen to us? But I think it was short term because we made the best of it.
Yeah.
As well.
I think you also presented it probably really well.
Not like this is the most amazing thing, but we're going to be okay.
And we're just making a few changes, and this is one of the changes.
Yeah. And I think they see how we give back a lot and donate money to causes that we help out other people. And so they realize like,
well, I also think the example that you guys set, not only in the way you treat each other, but coming together as a family to have those talks. You really try to make them understand on the bigger picture, which I don't think a lot of parents do, because we just sort of tell the kids the least amount and then they're left reeling because they don't have the full picture.
Right.
And I know that happens a lot with not just financial things, with many things, with divorce, with, anything that's unexpected. It can be sort of glossed over because of your shame, your fear, your insecurities. And then we end up passing that on to the kids unknowingly because we haven't been raw and vulnerable and truthful, appropriate for their age and relationship.
Right.
But it doesn't give them a chance to process, the reality of it. And so I feel like you guys did a really good job of that.
Thank you. I mean, we really couldn't hide anymore anyway.
Would you have kept hiding though at some point until you couldn't anymore? Or was there a point where you just said, all right, let's just step into the fire?
Yeah. Step into the fire. I think that's the best way to do it. You have to go straight through. Otherwise you just avoid the inevitable.
Yeah. I always say like, oh man, you got to go through that you got to keep going through the darkness, through the black hole. You cannot turn around, and in reference to stepping into the fire, that's where the phoenix rises. Right. It all burns down and that little baby phoenix comes out of the ashes. Right. And flies anew. And I love that analogy because it's true. That. It's true.
For sure.
How did you guys approach all the changes? Did you just say, was it because of COVID? You can say, hey, the next year, this is where you're going to go. Was it just, hey, this is just what's going to be and we're just going to be okay?
Yeah. I mean, we didn't need to explain too much to them. They were 16 and 13. At that point, we just kind of told them, this is how it's going to be. This is what's happening. We're going to be okay. Because we did have somewhere to go. And we were able to rent a car to have transportation.
It all fell into place.
Yeah.
Right? So what would you say through all of that struggle and that very uncertain time? What was your anchor?
God.
I knew you were going to say
it. I know.
I just wanted you to say it out loud. I just wanted you to say it out loud because it's so true.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
so true.
And, some people might say, oh, if you believe in God, that wouldn't have happened to you. But he allows things to happen to help us, to grow our character, to
learn lessons, to evolve our soul. I think that's the whole purpose here is the soul evolution and finding peace and then being able to give that back. I truly, that is why we're here. Otherwise, what's the meaning?
Right. And he made us realize we don't need anything else but him and our faith. So
it's true. And, he gave you a little back along the way, just enough, right? In order to now then rebuild.
Well, now we have true peace and freedom.
Yes. Yes.
And spiritual richness, honestly. Not to sound like cliche or...
It's not cliche though. I don't know. When you feel it, I mean, we may use different terminology. I might say the universe. I do mean God. I do believe in God, but it's just this collective peace. I cannot explain it unless you go through it and you go through the darkness. It's not, there's light on the other side and there's gratitude, but it's peace.
Yeah. And knowing you're going to be okay.
It's safety. Yeah. Knowing that you're okay within yourself and that there is safety in God, but there's safety in knowing that there's something greater than yourself.
Right.
Right.
And
it just is. So how did all the extended family react when you were like, hey, we're going through this, don't ask for any more money, or we can't help you, or
honestly, they felt bad and they wanted to help, but what the true lesson and blessing through it all was we were a witness to them, because they said, you guys were just so grateful and you didn't let this define you. And then they saw God bless us after the fact because we were faithful and anchored to Him. They realized, wow, you guys did it all right. A lot of people would have been divorced. A lot of people would have just fell apart, got into drinking to cope. And so I think that was an example to our family members, because they will say, you guys really went through a lot, but look at you now on the other side.
Oh, I like that.
And I wasn't looking at it like, oh, I'm going to show them that
No,
it just happened.
it's just the way you guys live your life, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's wonderful that the perspective is they got to witness that, and that hopefully they learned something from it.
Hopefully.
About living life with grace,
Mm-hmm.
right? And faith and trust. So let's go on to the rebuilding, because it gets good.
Yes.
And like redefining success.
Yes.
When did things start to turn?
After my husband went on like so many interviews.
So many.
He was so qualified for all these jobs, but whatever, God had a reason. He would go to the sixth interview and not get it. And that happened like 6 times. And that really shrunk his confidence, his self-esteem. Everything just kept shrinking and shrinking. And for me, I felt bad that he had to go through that, but I knew it was necessary to get to the end of himself. So I started thinking in my mind, like, what could I do for me? What could I do to provide? And I could do anything, like just basic things, work at a grocery store, work at just anywhere. But I really wanted to use the talents and gifts that God gave to me. And me being a licensed esthetician and my kids getting spray tans all the time, being in cheerleading, I thought, wow, I could do this myself and not pay for all these spray tans.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was fortunate to have someone in our neighborhood that was doing all the tans. He's like, you should do this and take my clientele and run with it. And I thought, I hadn't worked for years. I mean, it had been probably 20 years. And I thought, that insecurity came in, like, how am I going to do this? I haven't worked in so long, but I really
not only work, but like run a business.
Right.
It's not just, I'm going to go clock in.
Right.
It's, here, my clientele, go for it.
I was very insecure and fearful that I wouldn't do a good job, but I just honestly prayed, if this is what you want me to do. And God has blessed me with a lot of clients and opportunities, and it's growing at the pace that I want, but I'm able to contribute now and do something I enjoy doing. And I get to interact with my clients because they're at their most vulnerable stage. And so I've been able to share certain things, or they open up to me. And so I'm trying to use this avenue to bless others as well. And then John's been able to be promoted, and he's doing really well at his job. So now we're back on our feet and being able to save and not spend all that extra money.
Has some of his confidence started to return?
I think believe so. Yeah, absolutely. He's working really hard.
It's got to be so hard for a man who takes pride and genuinely enjoys taking care of his family financially. It's a man thing, that protect and provide. And so when that is stripped from you and you have to bare yourself to your partner, your family, naked, and then having to being given the opportunity to rise from that and actually be promoted probably past what he was.
Yeah.
But now having the clarity and the wisdom of, we're not going to taint ourselves and go back to that. We're going to still live simple, and we're just going to build our reserves and be able to bless others with it and just live life very differently than before with that wisdom.
And we don't have that pressure. We don't have any pressure on ourselves to live a certain way either. Like,
did you before?
Maybe, because we want our kids to have what other kids have. Not necessarily to just be caught up, but just like, if they want this because their friends have it, we don't want them to be without.
Yeah, we don't want them to be left out.
Yeah.
I know. We all live in the bubble.
But now I'm okay saying you don't need that. Absolutely not.
Right.
And I don't think I would have said no before.
Well, that's good. Do you think that they received the no's better than they would have had this not happened?
Yes.
Because they really didn't know where it came from.
Well, I don't think they want to contribute. I said, we keep spending on you, then we're not going to have any money left. No, I don't guilt them. But I think now they really ask, is it okay if we get this? Is it okay? Is it too much? And they said, I feel bad. Is it okay? And so I think they're definitely more aware, more conscientious, and not wanting to accumulate as much as well.
Yeah, hopefully the stuff isn't as important to them.
Yeah.
They have an idea of what really matters, right? And so my kids do that too. They're always like, Nate's like, okay, I signed up for intramural hockey. It was this, but I paid for it myself. And I was like,
and that gives them power and
well, they have to learn that, our kids are all in college now. So they have to learn that step by step, that self-sustaining is freedom.
Yeah.
Right. As long as you don't take advantage of it.
I think kids feel good when they say, "Oh, I paid for this."
Oh, of course.
They can tell their friends,
they take better care of it. They, everything, right?
Absolutely.
Their own money,
100%.
or they start thinking, how many hours do I have to work to buy that? And is that worth it? I like that.
Yeah, it gives them self-esteem
versus, let's just hand them the money, and then they don't realize that I got to work 2 days for that. But yeah, is it worth it?
And I think realizing all the stuff, we have a lot of stuff. We just purged out our garage, and I'm like, why did I buy all this stuff for them? They didn't need it. They don't use it.
They don't use it. And a lot of times we buy it because we hear that they're interested in something. So I had a parent tell me, the art teacher at school told my daughter she should be doing calligraphy, and she expressed something about wanting to make t-shirts. Bought her this huge press.
Oh, gosh.
Christmas hasn't been opened.
Yeah, that's what I realized. When they ask for something,
it.
I can say, you're not going to use that in 6 months. So why would I pay for that?
Right.
Whereas you want to pay for it yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't think I would have done that before.
And they probably think, do I want to pay for that myself?
Yeah.
And they don't get it. They move on, right?
Absolutely.
So funny. How did this experience change your view on others as far as supporting others?
Well, I don't ever want to get in that situation where I just give away everything so freely and not take care of my own unit, my own family first.
Family first.
Yes.
So like you've realized where generosity has to end and self-preservation begins.
And I don't think if you keep giving, people are going to keep asking and keep taking. But we both said if we could afford to buy a house for each of our families,
of course we would. But that's also when we think of, we just talked about the girls understanding the value of something you may or may not buy. Our family has to also.
Yeah.
Right. So again, when it's given freely, I don't want to say they're not appreciative, but they don't see that. I don't want to say self-sacrifice. What would be the word? They're not as appreciative.
No, but at the end of they're both in their almost 90s. So I feel like it's okay.
Yeah, sure.
To let them have some comfort at the end.
Don't want it to be an expectation. That's the word that I've been looking for, that it is truly a gift. If we're going to give money to our family, don't expect it back ever. It's a gift, but don't have the expectation that the gift revolves. It keeps giving, right?
Yeah. One time gift.
And so having that, do you feel like that verbally you guys have been able to have a much clearer boundary on, no, we can't do that?
Oh, 100%.
So that's probably helped as well, as far as just, and your marriage gets stronger because you're the united front. You know what I mean?
Because I'm very generous with what we didn't have.
She's very generous.
Oh yeah, we'll take care of those. And I love to give. That's one of my love languages. But yeah, then it affected us.
So tell me how this chapter redefines your identity, your success, your idea of abundance and security.
I would say having success isn't my own success. I share it with my family, and it's not about striving to be the best or making the most money. It's really just being able to use the talent and gifts that God gave me and to be able to use it to bless others, like you said. And my identity isn't what I have. And so that's freeing. My identity is just my attitude, being grateful, thankful, and knowing my purpose here. And
did you
not to hoard? And
when did you find your purpose?
I would say, I always wanted to help out in the church and give back. I would say during this time, because I had so much time alone. But when you don't have a lot of money and a lot of things, you see who your friends are.
Sure.
Because you can't keep up with everybody and
just
can't entertain, because I love to entertain. So there's just, we kind of lost a lot of our friends, which was okay because it gave time for me to focus on me. And I think during that time, I found my identity, my purpose, And that's when I got involved in the anti-human trafficking ministry at the church. Now I'm a life group leader in high school because I really want to help girls in this day and age to help find their identity and help them not to have so much pressure and give them hope. So I think, yeah, during this time, I've been able to find my identity, and maybe I wouldn't have if I was accumulating and not focusing on myself.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about the anti-trafficking organization that you are so involved in and so passionate about?
Yeah, absolutely. So our church helps survivors in the community, which they're all over Orange County, bringing awareness to the community, to kids, because it is happening here. So just using my time, my resources to help end it, to help provide for these survivors that are really traumatized and trying to find their way back.
Are they of all ages? What would you say is the age group that you focus on or that you're seeing the most of?
All ages, actually. But the ones we see on the street are 12, 14, 16, I know. But we help a lot of people, survivors that have been out of the life for a while. It's really hard for them to get back on their feet, especially nowadays in Orange County. But we'll place them in other states as well that'll take them.
Mhm.
But all that they've been through is just encouraging for me, really, to help.
That's pure survival.
Yeah, because they have such a positive outlook and they have so much faith because where they came from, where they are today, they're just grateful for anything. And that to me gives me encouragement too. And it makes me realize what I have is way beyond fortunate than them, and just wanting to use my resources to help them. I just want to help be that voice and stand in the gap.
I like that.
Yeah.
And you do it in so many ways. You have the human trafficking group with your organization, with your church, and then you speak at the high schools. And is that what you do with the girls? Can you tell me more about the high school?
Oh, no, I'm a life group leader at church
Okay.
for high school girls.
I see.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. No, it is.
And are those at-risk girls too, or is that just within our community?
Our community. Girls that attend our church. They just want a life group. And honestly, that's been encouraging also because they're all struggling.
Oh my gosh.
With anxiety, identity.
They're all struggling. Well, remember when we were 15, 16?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just on a whole nother level now.
I speak to people, I'm like, oh no, we were all insecure. What are you, high school? And why are girls so insecure? I'm like, oh, do you want me to list it out?
Right.
But you would never know because we're all putting the face on or trying to be cool or doing our thing. But it's even more so now, I think, than when we were younger, just because of the social media and this post-COVID era. And there's too much information coming at them. They almost know too much what's going on in the world and they can't focus. Yeah. And they have too many choices. Like, do you want to do this or this?
They all feel lost and they're stressed, but they're really seeking.
They do.
Purpose.
I think they're all seeking purpose.
And it's been exciting to meet them where their journey is, and they're vulnerable and ready, excited, and they want that peace. They want that joy.
These girls are going to find it much quicker than we did because the guidance is there. The information is out there. They can seek it out. My kids are so far beyond where I was in my 20s. Partly that's because I encourage it. The most important thing is to do your inner work and find your peace and find your faith and trust it.
Yeah.
So I commend you because getting to the girls at this age, if we can do that earlier before they've made a lot of mistakes, relationship or otherwise, and then you got to go through all that trauma on top of it to be able to get to a place of peace. It's like the interception point is a really good one at this age if they're willing to listen.
Right.
And if they're there, that's what they want, right?
Exactly. To find their identity and just knowing they're loved, they're valuable. That's kind of opposite ends of ministry that I'm working in. But I feel like this is what I want to use my time for. And yes, we still like to do nice things, travel and have nice things, but not in excess.
Right.
And also, since we lost a lot of our friends that we were doing life with, this is where it's more meaningful to me. I'd rather spend my time pouring into these organizations than just
hanging out.
Yeah.
If you could go back to the beginning of that season, what would you tell that version of you?
That's a good question. I would say don't waste time on the things that aren't important, honestly, and focusing inward and not waste opportunities to bless others and not make it about myself or it's okay to doubt yourself, but it's okay. Like, I'm going to be okay no matter what.
I call that living from the inside out.
Yeah.
Right? You got to live from the inside and feel all the feels, positives, negatives, and put it all on the table and decide what serves you and what doesn't serve you anymore. You have to continue. We reinvent ourselves so many times throughout our life. And so you have to continually put that out and be aware, like, this no longer fits. These people no longer fit. And you keep sort of changing your pile to match what it needs to be at this point in life. But as we get older and older, it doesn't change so much, because once you find the it's.
Right. I think wearing like all the, what you're saying is like, just, I would wear so many people, their energy,
Oh, yeah.
the lies, and just, it would just weigh me down physically that I didn't realize it.
And part of it's because you love everyone so much and you want to take burden from them. But when you learned it's not yours, you can love someone without carrying them.
And I didn't realize that till you taught me, because I have a lot of trauma that I was carrying around, and it was affecting my body. And so during that time, when you asked me what I was doing, or I think during that time where we had so much loss back to back to back, I just really focused on getting healthy emotionally, physically, spiritually, without anybody else to fill those voids, any, recreational, anything. It was just really about sitting in my pain, help having my body heal and get rid of all the things that had traumatized me.
I know.
over
And
the
look
years.
at you now.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean the trauma, it doesn't go away.
Right.
You just don't hold it the same way. It's like you don't hug it. It's kind
Right.
of on the shelf. And the people that surround that, what we're carrying, because we have compassion for other people, ask their guardian angels to come collect them and let them take care of that. And then I can love you, but I can't carry you and I can't fix you. I think as women, mothers, partners, it's a very important lesson to learn that I can love you, but I can't carry you. And it's actually in benefit of those other people to be able to give them the gift that you gave yourself of healing yourself. Right?
I still do use that exercise. When I feel like I'm carrying somebody, I remember what you said, package them up in love and give them up to God.
I do. I just wrap them in love. And, you don't want to throw up on the universe. So you have to wrap them in love, but it's just not ours. And we do better because now you're channeling your energy this way, which is so much more impactful than just trying to carry everybody else's grief or fear or, love them to death, because it doesn't.
And I can't live out my purpose if I'm carrying about everybody else.
That's right.
I can't.
Well, and they can't live theirs.
Right.
So when we think of like, oh, we want to take all the pain away from our kids, I said, well, how are they going to learn? We're taking away their opportunities for growth, other people's opportunities for growth, by trying to, I don't know, shield them or take something from them because you feel so bad they're feeling something. But now
that's about me, not them.
Yes. It's our ego. It's our ego. And we're taking that opportunity for growth and that lesson away from that person. And that's not ours to take.
No.
Right? Because God gave them that to learn. And here we are trying to.
Well, I think that's where a lot of my migraines were coming. Just carrying all the struggles my daughters were going through, my husband, my family. I was just so weighed down. And I just really, through that time, I found meditation, prayer, breathing exercises, going to Chrissie and having her help supplement that area as well that I couldn't do on my own.
Well, and it's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to seek out different things are going to help different people just depending on where you're at and what resonates with you. So try a bunch of things. I'm thinking like season 3, and I'd like season 3 to be about all the different things, and then people can see if it resonates or not. But there's so many different things. And I think that we need to open up to them. So in a self-healing sense, this might work for you, or it might work for you for a time. And then you need to move on to something else because that doesn't resonate with you or whatever your spirit or your body needs at that point. I have my own staples that kind of keep me grounded and able to treat.
Yeah.
And I've realized that if I don't give those things to myself, if I don't do them, they're maintenance now. They're not, oh, it's a luxury. It's, I don't function and I can't do my purpose unless I give myself these things in order to keep going. So that has shifted from, I don't spend money on myself. It's always on the kids. Right. But then we're falling apart and I still have to pay for the kids. So,
well, it's having balance really. And
agreed.
Self-care.
Yeah. And self-care doesn't, I mean, sometimes it's getting your nails done and getting a massage, but self-care is meditating. It's putting all those things that aren't yours on the table and giving them back to them. That's self-care also.
And
People
I
don't.
know so many women that feel like they have to be going all the time, doing, going, solving. I'm okay taking a nap during the
Oh, me
day.
too
I'm
now.
okay taking a day of just myself. I don't feel guilty. I
Yeah.
have to for my sanity, my physical.
Well, so that we
I
can use our gifts and talents, and that I need a lot of downtime. So my job, as you know, is like really physical.
Demanding.
It's so, I have to be so present in all bodies, mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual for that person. However many people I see throughout the day, or how much time, like afterwards, I don't want to talk to anybody. I need to just, sit with the dogs, or yes, I have to walk the dogs, but there's a period of rejuvenation there.
Yeah.
And then sometimes like on a weekend, I don't like stand under the radar.
Yeah.
I have too many things to do.
After COVID, I'm okay being in sweats and watching movies and
Sure.
relaxing, and not because I'm forced to, because I really want
Well, it's
to.
what
It's
your
a
body
treat
needs, the
for me, and my
downtime.
body needs it.
Yeah, the body needs the downtime. Okay, Kara, for listeners who are going through a similar storm, what truth do you want them to hold on to?
That's a loaded question, but I would say that never give up, and realize your situation is temporary. It's a season. You'll get through it. And every season and every trial has a blessing or a lesson. And it's okay, like you said, to go through all the feels, all the emotions, and process it, the grief, the victories, and get yourself back up and talk to the people in your life that you love. Don't hold everything in. That's not healthy. And being vulnerable.
That's a
to the
big
people
one.
around you. It's okay to say, we've lost everything. So many people I told, they didn't know what to say. Oh, so sorry. Like, can we help? They just really didn't know what to say, because most people will not be that vulnerable and say, we've lost everything. We don't have a car. We don't have money. We don't have food to eat. And I was okay with it. I never want anybody to feel bad for me. It's
No,
just
you don't do
being
it out
honest.
of pity. It's being honest.
It gives other people permission. Either they do want to help, or they can say, you know what, I'm struggling too. And like I said, my faith got me through coming together with my husband and my family, and not retreating.
And not retreating.
Not giving up hope. And prayer is always good.
When you think of abundance now, what does that look like?
Family time, living out my purpose, giving back, and just having freedom.
Freedom.
And peace. I want that joy. And it can be from not having, not spending money, not going on trips, not having nice cars, nice houses. It's just being filled with that joy, because I'm grateful for all the things I do have.
And I think gratitude is the baseline for everything that you just mentioned in abundance. If you don't have gratitude, you can't feel joy. And I don't think you can actually really feel what abundance is, because they're all tentacles of the same octopus, right? And so if you can't feel, you won't feel joy if you don't have any gratitude, and you won't actually feel abundant, because it'll never be enough.
Right.
If you don't have gratitude for what you already have.
I want to be okay having nothing. If I have nothing, I want to be okay with that. If you have
your family, connection with your kids, connection with your partner, that's all that matters. Everything else you can replace or build or not, And
I think with everything going on in this world today, that life is short. You don't know what tomorrow holds, and that being in the moment and not worrying about everything else that can happen will happen, because some of the times it won't even happen.
It's the shoulda, coulda, wouldas.
Yeah. I never want to live like that. If my kids say, I should, say no. Do not say that.
I don't do the shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yeah, I don't like those words.
No, I'm in reality. This is what's real. This is be here now is always what I tell people. Just be here now. Even if you have to snap your fingers or have some sort of ritual, but you've got to be here, because the future never comes and the past is gone.
And don't own what's not yours.
Oh gosh. Yes.
Yeah. Truth, I try to really tell my kids, don't believe the lies that you tell yourself. They're not true. And your feelings aren't true. They lie to you too.
Do not live in the story. You create a story to match those feelings. Don't do it. Just be in the feeling. It doesn't have to have a story. It can just be, I'm not sure where this came from, but I'm going to bring it out. I'm going to sit with it. I'm going to let it process. The story may come up later, but it's about the feeling.
And there's healthy grieving.
Oh, sure.
And there's unhealthy grieving.
I think you have to grieve.
If you're grieving too long, too much, and ruminating over and over and over,
ruminating is never good.
No.
Ruminating just brings
So I
anxiety
used
and
to do
depression.
that. I was the type of person, if I saw something on TV, I think that I need to be in it and feel that with that person. I feel bad. And then I'm walking around like, why am I so sad? Like
That's called empathy.
Yeah. I
You're
try
like, oh
not
my,
to.
you're like most of my girlfriends. Your empathy is so high. I think that's where we all connect, but
I try not to do that anymore
it's,
because I'll go down that path.
again,
I
it's
used
like,
to.
I can love you from over here,
Mhm.
but all of that's yours. It's like pulling yourself out into watching the movie,
Yeah.
right? So
Right.
like, what does Buddha say? It's something about getting to a place where you could have unconditional love with detachment.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really where I'm working on.
Yeah, because some people think if you're not feeling it with them, then you don't care. You're not
no,
helping.
you're just going to get sick.
Yeah,
That's what I
exactly.
tell them. You're just going to get sick,
That's
honey.
the thing is I don't want to feel sick.
No.
I don't want to get sick and I don't want to be in pain anymore.
But I can have compassion from over here and I can
Mhm.
help where my body says I can help or what my finances say I can help. But there has to be self-preservation in the sense that I'm no good to anybody.
Mhm.
My family, my responsibilities, if I give everything away.
Yeah.
And that also includes that empathy. Like, oh, if I'm not feeling your grief or your sorrow or your rage or your anger,
Yeah.
then we're not connecting.
Yeah, that's how
I
you
said, no,
I
can
you
totally
have to
connect
fight
with
for your
people.
peace, and you want to be victorious. You have to work at it
every day.
It can't be handed to you, and you can't just expect it.
Well, that's why it's such an awesome feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Peace is so awesome because if someone feels peace, they worked really hard for it.
Yes, absolutely.
And so it's just it's that, I don't know, it's the exhale, you guys.
Yeah.
It's the exhale and letting everything go. That's what peace feels like. And you have to work really hard because all of us are walking around holding our breath.
Right. I used to. And just disconnecting from a lot of things that don't serve us.
Yes.
Social media.
All
which
of it.
I do that. I like, what's it called?
You doom scroll?
Yeah, doom scroll. I do that, but I know when to say no.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm done.
I can watch the dog videos too. And then, but I don't use it for, you can set your algorithms to send you the positive things. So I like the positive affirmations and
cooking.
Yeah. But I scroll right past the icky stuff because I don't want it to send me more of that.
No, it does have this subconscious.
Oh, no, it's those algorithms. It's like, oh, she wants more of this. So let me just send.
And I'll start feeling myself being anxious when I see things on the feed that are like affect me. I'm like, oh no, I gotta stop that.
You just gotta get up.
Because half the times it's not true anyway.
No, most of the time it's not true.
Yeah.
With the kids, they're ruminating or they're complaining. I'll say, what's your solution? I learned that from one of my really good friends who was a dance coach at San Clemente High for 10 years. And when the girls would come in and complain, she'd go, comma solution. So you could complain all you want as long as you have the solution. So that works really well with your kids because they shut up a little bit because they just want to bitch. I let them bitch. And then I say, what's your solution? They don't have one.
No, they don't.
I'll say, then just move on.
Yeah, I can't stand complaining. Well, complainers and people say they're bored. This is boring.
I always say, you know what I say to that now? I'll say being bored is good because that's where creativity comes from. When the kids were little, and I would stop saying, go read a book, go do that. I just say being bored is good because creativity will come out from that when you finally don't want to be bored. So
and just having simple life, honestly, is so much more
very rewarding, isn't it?
Rewarding and fruitful, especially when I see the trauma in all of these survivors. They have nothing and they're happy.
They're just happy not to be where they were.
Right.
I mean,
so every
that's
day is
their
a
bottom
gift.
line.
The littlest thing makes them so full of joy, just and they're grateful. And I thought, you know what? I want to have that.
It puts it in perspective.
If I'm teaching it and preaching it to others, I might as well live that way. It's available to me too.
It's that shift in perspective that someone who has not or does not, or we get a rare gift of seeing someone else's life that didn't grow up the way we did. It puts things in perspective of what's really important, right? And that's
exposing my kids to that. They feel like, oh my gosh, these people, they have nothing. They're so happy and they want to give. They want to help out. They have compassion, empathy. So I think exposing our kids to all different types of walks of life, other people, not just their own people and not just what's comfortable.
Oh no, that's huge. It's huge going on. And part of that's like kicking them out into the real world and seeing, you can see all the haves and haves not, and you figure out what you want your life to feel like.
Well, they get some gratitude for what they have.
Yes. Sure. And having gratitude is, like I said, the basis of all positive emotion. Okay. Final question.
Yes.
What do you know about yourself now that you didn't know before everything fell apart?
that I am capable of standing on my own 2 feet, that I don't have to find my confidence in anyone else, and that my kids don't define me.
That's
I
a
used
good
to look to
one.
my kids to give
That's a
me
really good
purpose. I
one.
really did. And now that they're out of the house, well, once back, I feel like that was my purpose, to be a mom. And I was for a time, but I had to realize that's not going to be my story.
And I like that you said strength. And Kate, well, I don't know if you said strength. I think you said capable. But the word that first comes up for you, watching you go through all these years, is strength. And I don't know that at one point when I first met you, you would have considered yourself a strong person in that
No,
sense.
I was burying my head in the sand and just like
But
my whole body was like falling over. I remember you said you're like,
but you were, yes, you were just very heavy with other people's. But I admire your strength. And I don't tell people they're strong very often.
thank you.
But you being able to overcome everything that you've come in your own life and keeping faith and continuing to support your husband through a very difficult time without throwing him under the bus, without speaking out loud any resentments or disappointments, and keeping your family together. And through that all, doing all the work on yourself that you've done, it's just strength, man, because you can do anything now. I think all the things that you're doing are so wonderful, but I also know that it doesn't matter what you choose to put your energy into. It's going to be good. And
Well, thank you. It's not about me. It really isn't.
but it is.
Yeah. But I mean, to tell other people, like, it's not always about you. Sometimes you're here to bless other people or
we
to be
were all given
an
gifts and
example.
talents. I think we're all given gifts and talents, and I think that we're meant to use them.
Yeah.
And so a lot of life is figuring out what our gifts and talents are and then fine tuning them. And also the gifts and talents change flavors depending on where our life is going or what we're being called to do. And I think the real strength is stepping into that with vulnerability to gain the clarity and then to really do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think that's a great place to end.
Thank you. It's all worth it. So
Wasn't it?
yeah.
I'm so glad you came on, Kara.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So what I love about Kara's story is it reminds us how quickly comfort can become complacency and how collapse, when met with honesty, can actually create connection. It's rarely just about the money. It's about truth of what we value, what we avoid, and what we believe we deserve. Financial loss doesn't just test a marriage. It ripples through every relationship, the roles we play as parents, as children, as caregivers. And sometimes in those cracks, we discover who we really are together. So if you're in a season of uncertainty, whether it's financial or emotional, let this remind you, stillness is not failure. It's the space where truth rises. And from that truth, the rebuilding begins. I'm so grateful for Kara for sharing her honesty, your humanity, and your hope. And I think hope was probably the shining star through it all, because it is really easy to lose hope.
For sure.
And I remember us talking and going through your notes. One thing was for certain, she never lost hope through the entire process.
No.
If this conversation resonated with you, take a moment after listening to reflect. What part of your life are you still trying to hold on to? And what might actually heal if you let it finally fall apart? Our shift has ended for today. Until next time, stay curious, stay present, and stay in truth.